One squad left. It's gonna get loud.
Contact. Getting shot at. Firing. Hostile contact with target. Making contact with enemy.
Hey, what's going on, Champ Squad? My name is Vinsanity if you're new, and welcome to another Apex Legends video. So in today's vid, I'm going to discuss some specific settings that you want to look into and potentially change to help improve your movement on controller in Apex Legends. So I'll break down the rationale behind why you should change these settings, and then provide some quick tutorials for how to do more complex movements on controller, such as super gliding, super jumping on zip lines, and bunny hopping. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first setting you're going to want to change to help improve your movement is to put auto sprint on. So it's pretty simple, but the reason you should do this is that your default movement will always be sprinting and running. This will just help improve your movement in general. It'll be a lot more fluid, reduce the amount of dead slides you get, as well as the clunky movement sometimes you'll feel if you don't have this setting on. It'll also make it easier to super glide, bunny hop, and other complex movements that requires you to be sprinting and jolting forward will be a lot easier if you have auto sprint on. Alright, so the next setting, probably the most important setting to change to improve your controller movement, is putting crouch on hold instead of toggle. So if you've never played with crouch on hold, I'm not going to lie, it will feel very strange at first, and it's going to take some getting used to. But once you get the hang of it, playing with crouch on hold will help your movement probably more than any other setting change. It just gives you way tighter control over your movement, way more flexibility with how you interact with the space around you. And the reason for this, the first main reason, is that it allows you to mix up the length of your crouching. So rather than with toggle where you crouch up and down with the same depth every time, crouching with crouch on hold will make you a much more elusive target in a fight since you won't have that predictable movement pattern. You'll be able to crouch way faster as well as vary the depth of your crouch spam. And this makes your movement way less predictable and will keep your enemy guessing. Having crouch on hold will also just make more complex controller movements like super gliding and bunny hopping a lot easier to do. After I made the switch to crouch on hold, I was able to bunny hop and hit super glides a lot more consistently than when I had it on toggle. So it also just opens the door for more complex movements that might be a little bit more difficult if you have crouch on toggle. Alright, so the next big setting to change, which is probably pretty obvious, is to take a look at your sensitivity, specifically your look sensitivity. So the higher your look sensitivity, the higher your movement ceiling will be in theory, since you'll be able to turn more quickly and interact with more objects in your space. So doing things like zipline jumping, wall bouncing, turning tight corners, the higher sensitivity is, the easier it will be to do things like this. The trade-off is the higher your sensitivity gets, the harder it will be to control your aim, specifically your hip fire aim, as well as locking onto targets before you ADS. So I'd say at an absolute minimum, keep your sensitivity at 4, but 5 or higher is honestly best for improved movement as long as you can still control your aim. So these are the biggest settings I recommend changing for improving your controller movement. If you're running these settings, you should be able to do complex controller movements like super gliding, zipline jumping, and bunny hopping. Really, it just takes time to get these movements down, and I will be coming out with a comprehensive, full controller movement guide for things like super gliding, bunny hopping, and zipline jumping in the next few days, so definitely stay tuned for that. This tutorial will include basically a full guide for the mechanics for these different movements and how you can do them consistently. If you're running the same settings as I am here, there should be no limit on whether you can do these movements. It just takes some time to get the mechanics down and to be able to reproduce them consistently. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Peace.
Out in the chimney.
First blood. Enemy shield broken. Reloading.
Cracked an enemy shield. Down to target.
Recharging my shields.
We're inside the ring. Mike, I'm spotted. Dusted the last one. What's up?
Nice choice. So close.
We're inside the ring. I'm out of light ammo.
Reloading.
Tango down.
Enemy taken out.
Double timing it. Cracked an enemy shield. Reloading. Reloading.
Enemy shield broken. 1 minute. Ring's pretty close. Enemy down.
Look out. Whole squad taken out. I like what I see.
Good kill. Ring's not too far. 45 left.
Reloading.
Recharging my shields. That was just one. Recharging my shields.
Reloading.
Patching myself up.
An enemy shield.
They spotted me. I'm taking shots.
Give me a sec. Recharging shields.
Need to recharge my shields.
With the enemy shield. Tango down. We're inside the ring. Only one squad left. It's gonna get loud.
Contact. Get shot at. Firing. Hostile contact with target.